And we are back.
Mid-Valley Mutations.
And we have here in the studio with us Devil's Club.
How are you doing tonight?
Excellent, excellent. What is shaking, sir?
Well, we're just doing a little bit of strange sounds down here tonight. My name's Hortus, and I play with Devil's Club, and we came down to actually play a couple of synthesizers that were handmade by a really cool guy in the Netherlands named Rob Horndog.
Yeah, these things are kind of amazing. It's like you're using like hand motions as well as dials. This is like some old-fashioned technology here that you don't usually see or hear in these kinds of environments. What got you into these?
Well, I came across them pretty much by accident as usual, and I was looking for something that would allow me to use Chaos as a project member, so that extra person who isn't there really, even though these definitely have their own personality going. I have 4 of these things right now, and each one is very different. The sound, everything about it, really. They all do kind of the same stuff, but anyhow, yeah, these things just kind of fell in my lap as usual, and I started using one of them, and I used that on a record that I recorded this last winter, and really, really loved it, and so just kept messing with them, and just keeps getting better and better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's fascinating because I think you were saying that you haven't really been at this for very long, and yet you have an incredible output.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks.
If you go to the SoundCloud page, soundcloud.com/devilsclub, like 30, 40 songs up there. I mean, like there's tons of material.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, like it just keeps going. Like I timed out scrolling down to find new stuff because I was like, I have to go.
Yeah. You know, a lot of the old stuff I haven't actually heard for, since I did it, really. That stuff is a constant stream of things I just do in the evening when I feel like it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, I was putting out a tune a night there for a while, so that's why there's so many.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use those, like I was telling you earlier, as a personal exorcism, essentially.
Yeah, there seems to be like a very emotive expression to the sound too, because it's not like this pre-written, predetermined kind of track that goes in a direction that like, oh, and then here's the verse. And
yeah. I try to keep it pretty improvised for the most part. There are a few things that have some canned elements. A lot like somebody would sample something or anything like that. But essentially the pieces are constructed on the fly as I'm doing them. And I spend maybe a few minutes with a very basic starting point and just kind of let it fractal from there, essentially.
Yeah, and there's also an incredible dynamic range to the sounds, because I think a lot of people think electronic music and they can think of like one beat, one pulse, one tone, or one frequency that they often hit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of their shtick,
Right.
But listening to this, you get these ultra low tones, these incredible high tones, these sound waves that kind of seem to go in and around and through you. Like the dynamic range is just spectacular.
Yeah, it covers a little bit more than the audible spectrum, as far as I know.
If you have pets at home and they're listening,
actually, ironically, our cat loves these things. This particular type of atonal music.
Oh wow!
She can hear it anywhere in the house, even when because I actually record most everything with headphones. And that was due to circumstances for a long time. I just didn't have the space to be really loud or whatever.
Right.
And so yeah, she loves it. And so when she hears me actually playing things back, she'll come and sit next to me and enjoy the music. It's pretty neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there a specific reaction, or is it just mostly like I'll get nearby, like does the cat dance, or?
She actually will start playing quite often.
Oh.
Yeah. So it energizes her, and she's 14. So
cool.
That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. That's not young for a cat.
No, she's doing very well. Yeah. She is getting up there in age.
Mm-hmm. So we have a forthcoming record that's
Yeah.
you can put together?
Yeah, that's right. I'm working on essentially just arranging payment for the packaging and that sort of thing. So I applied for a grant with a group in New York to attempt to get it pressed as a double album on vinyl. And it runs, I think, 55 minutes, maybe an hour. I don't recall exactly, but it's 5 pieces of music.
Nice.
2 of them they're improvised, but they're sequenced, but they're true improvisations. So, I started with nothing, and they grew from nothing and into what they are. And then 3 of them are actually very abstract atonal pieces that I did with some C sound stuff that I wrote for a Raspberry Pi, which is a tiny little computer. So there's a little digital in there, and then a lot of analog too. I played, one of these types of synthesizers. These are called a Bluppo box.
Right.
The name of them. Yeah. So I only had one at the time. Used that, and used a couple other really interesting, strange little devices. One made by a fellow named Martin Freeman.
Not the actor?
No. It's actually those are a Horndog, and those are actually very interesting sounding things as well. Very dense, intense oscillators. He considers them a chaos machine as well. They're a little different type of chaos. It's being that it's compressed so heavily. These guys are a little more spacious, and more alien sounding.
Nice.
But I use that for some percussion. The Horndog kind of played some percussion on some of that stuff.
Got it.
But the records, it's a requiem for my dad. So it was a piece of music that I did for him during the time he was passing away, in the evenings, an hour at a time or whatever I could spare, basically.
Wow.
Yep.
It's not just like this very improvisational kind of flowing with the moment, but like this is a very emotional catharsis as well.
It is, yeah. In fact, I don't think there's anything on, particularly the SoundCloud page that comes anywhere near the intensity of the stuff that's on that record. It's some of it's. I mean, I do listen to it, but it can be unlistenable if you're not in the right mood. It has to be appropriate, I'd say, for most people, probably.
I think almost all of my favorite records are ones where at first I could tell there was more here than I was ready to bite off at the moment, and sometimes I'm not into it at first, and it takes a little while. I think sound has that way of, the first time when it's completely new, it seems so foreign to you that you're kind of like put off. You're like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then I think the second, third time, like it becomes like a friend that you really want to have around.
Yeah, definitely. I actually feel like a lot of that intensity, in some ways, I became acclimated to that through going to see and listening to Uneasy Chairs quite a bit.
Oh yes, a friend of the show has a couple of songs that have appeared, I think, in just the first few episodes.
Yeah. Great player.
Yeah, and a Salem native, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Yeah. We actually grew up just a couple miles from each other.
So are there secret Devil's Club Uneasy Chairs collaborations in the works there?
They've already happened. There are actually quite a few recordings that we've done actually that are on the SoundCloud page, going back to some of the earliest stuff, actually. Probably some of the better stuff even is actually Uneasy Chairs and Devil's Club as a collab.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and we should mention too that this is not just a bedroom project as well. There's been a few live shows as well.
Yeah, I have had the chance to do that. It's been really great. I think I'll be doing it quite a bit more this coming summer and actually probably the beginning of the year there coming up.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully some stuff like this.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm not going to stop doing this.
Nice. Yeah. This is hour 1 of Devil's Club on Valley Mutations. Cool. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the gear because, you seem to be the kind of person who has been doing this for a little while. And so you've probably seen technology change a few times over the years.
I actually come from a much more string background. I did play a lot of stringed instruments, going back to 1974, actually, when I was a little kid.
Wow.
Yeah, and I did that all the way up until about 3 years ago, and I injured my hand at work. It's one of the side gigs I used to do. I used to do a lot of stagehanding, crafty stuff, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so this actually filled that gap because I lost the ability to play the guitar the way I like to play it.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, which is, at first, it was a real bummer. But now, you know, I've actually replaced that with something that I find just as interesting, really. And
yeah, at least it's not a compromise.
no, not even close. No. In fact, you know, this kind of music, one thing I really like about it is if I had one working ear and a working arm and a finger, I could still do it. You know, and that's important to me. So
yeah, well, yeah, I always think of that Raymond Scott philosophy where he was trying to find a way to make music that more accurately reflected what the songs he wanted to compose were, and it took until he was able to make those harmoniums and those early oscillating electronic instruments before he was able to really. I don't think he was entirely happy when he was playing the like sextet songs, as great as they are, and I love those records too. But you know, something about him moving into the electronic field really captured music that he couldn't get any other way, even with like stringed instruments and live performers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I could see that being the case. You know, for me, this simplifies a lot of the logistics of actually going out and playing live or recording a piece of music in the middle of the night when I feel like it, you know.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to call a band up.
I don't, but I also don't consider it a solo project either, especially with instruments like these around. And I do some other, what they call generative type of music too, where I use actually a language. Well, I run it in Linux, but it's actually a Python based thing, and it's made by a fellow named Christopher Ariza, and that's called Athena CL. If anyone wants to check it out, it's pretty awesome. That stuff allows me to basically create music on the command line and then import that onto a sequencer or something like that and use that as a starting point. So it's like that extra member of the project, you know. Amazing bass player too.
Right. Well, and the best part is they're never bumming cigarettes from you or
never.
Like borrowing money for a drink or anything.
No, you know, I'll tell you, they do cost some money sometimes, but it's well spent.
Yeah.
You usually have to spend it once.
Yeah, it's a one-time cost.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're hearing some pre-recorded stuff behind the interview. This is just a track was pulled off of the SoundCloud page. But again, for people who are wanting to check out more, SoundCloud.com/devilsclub. This will be available for download soon. So listen for that as well. We got to do a little bit of a break, bring you some information about the weather, and then you feel like another set?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Excellent, cool.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned because we got more Devil's Club here on Mid-Valley Mutations after this.